Hello, Jack. Thank you for coming. I wanted to start off by asking, when did the idea of civilization and order become unsatisfying to you?
I felt powerful the moment I realized I had control. I realized I had become the one true ruler, or the one true leader. Not second, I was finally number one on this island. Not under civility, rules, or order, but through inner desires we didn't know existed. I accepted the chaos and I looked to burn down any last trace of society, just as it had left me.
I like your response. In your last sentence, I wanted to talk about there was no piggy to talk sense, there was no solemn assembly for debate, nor dignity of the conch. I feel like that showed exactly how civilizations collapse, allowed for savagery to take over, and Piggy really represented that rational thought and thinker kind of person, and the conch symbolized civility and order. Um, but both of these forces being present, they restricted you from fully reaching out and giving into your own desires. But once these disappeared, nothing could really stop you, stop your hunger for power. And this proves that without civilization's rule and order, also structure, savagery would dominate, and internal instincts as well. Your group's emotions and actions affect your decision making.
The group's emotions, that's exactly where my power comes from. I thrive off of the emotions of the boys. When the boys have fear, what do? I serve as their protector. I offer the remedy they oftentimes seek. Over time, as emotions of the group become more intense, my control grows. I feed into their instincts, as understanding fear and desire makes the boys easier to lead. Like when all at once Robert was screaming and struggling with the strength of frenzy, the chant rose ritually, as at the last moment of a dance or a hunt. By responding to the emotions rather than reason, I'm left with power. I strengthen my authority and push the boys more into the hand of savagery. That's real leadership, compared to whatever Ralph, boring rules and orders had going on.
Before we move on to question 3, I wanted to talk about question number 2 that you just answered, Jack. Your response demonstrates how manipulation of the boys' emotions and reliance on group peer pressure allowed you to gain power. The frenzy specifically showing how rational decisions and group mob mentality take over as savagery and internal instincts influence the actions of others. A study done by, I believe, Daniel B. M. Juan supports that idea, stating children as young as 4 years of age are subject to peer pressure. They often conform to unanimous majority of 3 peers in spite of better knowledge, out of social motivations mainly. Preschoolers' levels of conformity closely match those reported for adults. That could be found on page 7. You use conformity to your advantage, as we see in your response, as well as fear and savagery to lead, rather than reason. How did you use the beast to support your power and induce fear in the boys to make them seek comfort in you, as well as comfort in their inner savagery?
The beast was the greatest gift I could have ever received. The fear it awakened in the boys was exactly what I was looking for. It opened a chance for me to gain their trust by putting myself up against the beast. I repeated phrases like we'd beat it, and we'd kill it, and we'd be able to slit its throat. And I faced their fear head on without a second doubt. I became their protector. They sought comfort in the ways of my savagery and eventually would learn to have their own. The pig we sacrificed was our own conch. It symbolized our inner savagery and inner beast that lies within us all. As I understood what the boys wanted, they didn't want some orderly society that wouldn't protect them from the beast. They wanted protection and a guarantee for tomorrow, unlike Ralph.
And my final question for the day is, how did you feel when you realized you had control over the boys?
I felt powerful the moment I realized I had control. I realized I had become the one true ruler, or the one true leader. Not second, I was finally number one on this island. Not under civility, rules, or order, but through inner desires we didn't know existed. I accepted the chaos and I looked to burn down any last trace of society, just as it had left me.